For those of you who enjoy running, we've prepared 17 stretches that are great to do before and after your run. Let's go through them together, from the exact principles to the methods, how to do them, and why we do these movements. These will help with everything from the pain and discomfort many people experience while running to improving your running performance. Let's start with neck stretches. When it comes to neck stretches, you might think we're just doing them because it's routine, but the neck actually plays a very important role even when running. On the side, there's a muscle called the scalene muscle. Next to it, there's something called the brachial plexus, which is a bundle of nerves running through the upper body. So if this muscle gets very tense and the nerves become strained, a lot of people find that their upper body gets tired quickly when running and they feel like they can't run any further. Try to really feel the stretch in your scalene muscles. Now, let's do a big neck rotation. As your torso twists left and right, your neck will naturally move forward and backwards. So if your neck moves smoothly, you'll be able to run more comfortably. Next, interlace your fingers behind your back and keep your hands away from your body. Open your chest as much as possible and stretch your entire upper body upward, keeping your spine straight. Since many people tend to live with their backs hunched, they often end up running with that same posture. This makes it hard to breathe properly, so straightening your back like this is an important point. For the next movement, we'll do the opposite and stretch from the back of the neck down to the back, loosening up all the weakened muscles in that area. Lower your head and hunch your back, curling it into a rounded shape. As you do this, feel the stretch in your back muscles and the back of your neck and try to focus on that sensation during the stretch. Earlier, we stretched the sides of the neck, but since the back of the neck is often tense, it's also good to stretch it like this. The next movement is a side stretch. The sides are also a very important point when it comes to running. When running, you basically support your weight on one leg, then shift your weight to the other leg and keep repeating this process. You continuously support your weight on one leg and then the other, and during this process, the muscles on the side of your hips and the side of your torso work to prevent your pelvis from tilting to the side. These muscles activate to stabilize your pelvis, and whether or not your side muscles are properly engaged determines how well you can control the instability and prevent your body from wobbling. This is a key point. Now let's try stretching by moving to the side and then slightly forward as well. You can stretch the muscle called the quadratus lumborum. The side muscles, especially the ones that run along the backside of your torso, help stabilize your pelvis from the back. If you make sure to properly engage the gluteal muscles, especially the posterior fibers of the gluteus medius, and check that you are using them correctly during the movement, it will help prevent issues such as the pelvis tilting to the side while running, as well as various other problems that can arise from it. It's even better if instead of just stretching slowly like this, you add a slight bouncing motion up and down as you do the movement. The next movement is to balance on one leg while grabbing your ankle on the other side and pulling it toward your body. You can do this while standing, but if that's difficult, you can also do the movement sitting down or even lying down. The important point here is that when you do this, you should feel the stretch in the lower part of the gluteus maximus, which is the muscle under your buttocks. This lower part of the gluteus maximus is especially responsible for generating strong power when running, so it's crucial to feel the stretch coming from this area. The gluteal muscles are fundamentally important for generating powerful force to push off the ground, so making sure these muscles function well is key. Next, we move on to another gluteal muscle stretch. This time, with your leg raised, you'll pull your leg outward to the side. By doing this, you'll feel the stretch in the outer and upper part of the gluteus maximus, as well as in the posterior part of the gluteus medius. These areas are particularly important, as I mentioned earlier, because they help support your body and prevent it from tipping to the side when you bear weight on one leg while running. So it's a good idea to take care of these muscles with proper stretching. Next is a stretch for the front of the thigh. Hold your left foot with your right hand and pull it back behind you. Make sure your knee doesn't come forward. Push your knee far enough back and pull your foot back as well to stretch properly. Be sure to stretch using the opposite hand and leg so that your body twists slightly to the side. This way you can effectively target the muscle called the rectus femoris. This area is especially important when running, as your leg swings back and even kicks up to your hips, then lifts forward again, especially at high speeds. So it's good to take care of it with proper stretching. Next, we'll try stretching the iliopsoas muscle with your legs positioned front and back. The iliopsoas muscle isn't often used in other exercises, but it's known to be a really important part of the body's core, and this movement targets that muscle. When running, you need to be able to send your leg back and also lift it forward properly. In those movements, make sure the iliopsoas muscle stretches and contracts well so you can feel it working as you perform the exercise. As you gently bounce your body back and forth, check if you can feel the stretch at the front crease of your pelvis. Next, from the previous position, spread your legs a bit wider to the sides and see if you can feel the stretch in your inner thigh adductor muscles. As I mentioned earlier, when you send your leg back and lift it forward, the adductors also play a small supporting role. So check if these adductor muscles are engaging properly, and after stretching them, you will find that your pelvis and knees are much more stable and less likely to wobble inward or outward when you run. It would be good if you pay close attention to this. Now, this time, let's try continuing the movement while maintaining a bit of balance from the side. Earlier, I mentioned the muscles on the side of the pelvis. Among them, I talked about the gluteus medius muscle located at the back of the pelvis. But the gluteus medius isn't the only muscle on the side of the pelvis. There's a muscle called the tensor fasciae latae that I'm talking about now. This muscle is attached to the front and side of the pelvis, so when you take a position where your leg moves out to the side, you might feel it stretching in that area. Not only does it help support you when standing on one leg, but for those who have issues on the outside of the knee while running, stretching this muscle can also be beneficial. Next is a stretch for the back of the thigh, commonly referred to as the hamstring. If you look at the position of the toes, you'll see that the movement is done with the toes pulled back. When you pull your toes back like this, it's not just the back of your thigh that gets stretched. The nerves and blood vessels that run from there all the way down to the sole of your foot are also being stretched as a whole. You can also stretch that area as well. It would also be good to check if you are using the strength from the back of your thigh properly when running. For the next movement, we'll continue by bending the upper body forward with the knees straight. This time you can see there's a slight difference from the previous movement, right? Here you're keeping your toes pointed. If you pull your toes back like we did earlier, you'll feel the stretch all the way down to the soles of your feet. If you do it with your toes pointed as we're doing now, you'll feel the stretch not only in the back of your thighs, but also along the front of your shins and the tops of your feet. There are important muscles and nerves that run along the front of the shin and the top of the foot. So it's good to stretch this area as well. The next movement targets the muscles that extend from the calf. You can think of it as stretching your ankle. Many people have reduced foot function, which means their ankle movement is also limited. If you run without proper ankle mobility, you may experience pain or discomfort in your ankles and knees. That's why stretching here is a key point. When you do this movement, you should feel a stretch in the area just below the knee, commonly known as the calf muscle. It's best to perform the movement while really feeling that stretch. Now let's continue with the ankle stretch. This time you'll do the movement with your knee bent. The difference from before is whether your knee is bent or straight. These are the two main differences. When you do the stretch with your knee bent, you will feel the stretch in the soleus muscle, which helps stabilize the ankle. When you perform the movement this way, your ankle needs to move properly in order to absorb the impact that would otherwise go to your knee. So it's important to check whether your ankle is flexible enough and functioning properly. As you do this, try to really feel the stretch in that area. As we did earlier, the difference from the previous movement is that you should check whether you feel more of a stretch in the lower part of your calf. Now, for the final movement, place your toes on a slightly elevated surface, bend your ankle, and position yourself so that your knee moves forward. Thank you. Just like before, check whether your ankle is bending enough and whether your toes are flexing as you perform the movement. This time, try to really feel the stretch running from the sole of your foot up to your calf. Whether or not you use your toes properly like this can make a big difference in your running performance. So, even when you're doing your usual stretches, check if you're engaging your toes properly and if they're functioning well. It would be great to try running based on this awareness. If you want to improve your running performance and achieve better results based on the various movements and body sensations I've just talked about, please check out the videos that are appearing now or the pinned comment below the video. I hope these resources help you enhance your running skills. I'll continue to provide you with useful information for your running journey, so please make sure to subscribe. I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching the video until the end.